What is up, guys? In today's video, we are going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build, talking about the game, what they do well, and what they could do differently. As always, if you guys do find this video helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this week's update. Wasn't the biggest deal with the addition of the hand cannon. Doesn't shake the game up that much, but vaulting the green and blue snipers should lead to less sniping. Hasn't been my experience playing the game. And then I think the most significant change was just the nerf to the Frenzy auto shotgun's range, making it a lot less consistent. And it was already a weapon that had consistency problems, I would say. We can go Grimgate this game. I feel like that's typically the most populated and most sweaty POI this season, because the Cerberus medallion is typically the most sought after of the medallions, I would say. And hopefully we can spectate somebody playing a bit aggro. One of the things about this POI that can be rough is with it being really populated, it takes a while to clear it, right? And then with the medallion being one of the most sought after, it's often third-partied as well. So like, you got to be very cautious when you land here with third parties coming in from like this side of the map. And just basically 360 degrees around you, you could have third parties coming. And with the green water, people can get there rather quickly. You're really gonna lightning me? Brother. So somebody started the boss encounter already, which I don't think is a bad play at all. Because the POI is gonna be chaotic anyways, and like I said, it could take a while to clear. So if you're playing to clear the POI and then start the boss, like, you can run into some timing problems. So I think starting it right away and then kind of clearing the POI, maybe not being that worried about rushing down the boss and the wolves, isn't the worst idea ever. And it's kind of like chaos that you're causing, where it's like everyone else has to respond to it. A lot of other players got to think, oh shoot, he's rushing the boss, I got to like play a bit differently to get on that. And hopefully by the time you've done cleared the POI, maybe some people have thinned out the wolves and like the stages of the boss fight, and so you can kind of get it finished a little bit quicker and not get third partied. Here's somebody back into his left. Oh no. This is one of the problems with this area, is everyone's going to have Cerberus dashes constantly. So it's like very irritating to fight here at times if you don't immediately get the kill, because he's just able to like spam dash away. And I thought like he was just going to leave initially. That's kind of like my worst fear making this video right now, is that this player just dashes away to who knows where in the water. And then I end up like switching who I'm spectating, and we end up with people that are like across the map doing nothing. There's an AI. Be a free kill for him. Still fighting going down, but you see these stages here, the boss hasn't even spawned yet. So it's not like the player that we're spectating is under any pressure to rush what they're doing and be concerned about the boss. Things will just loot, heal up, and then deal with that when the time comes. Surprised that player that was pushing him didn't chase further. They might not have had dashes, and that is one thing that's like very important for fighting in these areas, is just get dashes. That person just died down there to somebody else, but that means there's another player down there. I'm kind of surprised he's going back this way. I would want to try to like get shots on that person as they're going for that loot, or get to like a spot where I can do damage to them as they're going for that loot. I think he's just gonna wait until someone starts the boss, maybe. That one also wouldn't be a bad play. Like, let this person think they're alone and the POI is cleared, and then when they go start fighting the boss and stuff, capitalize on that timing. Got decent loot. Kind of weird with 2 ARs, but you just got to take what you get sometimes. There's a gold AR down there. And splashes. Person in here is breaking barrels. They're like in this room, I think. I'm not the most familiar with this POI. Now they're fizzing. They might try to like jump up and make a play. He's just gonna back off. And like I talked about at the start of the video, you are on a constant clock at this POI, I feel like. Because the longer it takes you to clear it, the more likely it is you get third partied when getting the medallion. And then you either have to leave without getting the medallion, or your game is over at that point anyway. So like, typically, if I land here, I am going to play very aggressive, because I don't want to just have my game ruined by a third party. Like, the whole reason of me landing here was to get that medallion, you know? I think he can go back. I think those other people are fighting. This area is looted already. Let's check Underworld. Underworld hasn't been slain yet, but a lot of times Underworld will be cleared before this POI is done, and then the Underworld player will make their way here. I'm not sure if these people are fighting or not. Like, they're exchanging shots, but are they actually fighting, you know? Doesn't seem like it. The default's just going to keep looting and staying on the outside of the POI. Some barrels here, and there's a god chest that can spawn right there. It may or may not have already been opened. There's some barrels under him as well when he comes up here. Like, to his right, there's some slap barrels. I think he already looted this god chest over here. Is he just going to leave? I'm, like, kind of confused with what's going through this player's mind right now. Like, I don't know if he's, like, thinking about leaving and sticking around to see if they're fight. Okay, now it seems like he's just down to leave. Oh, there's a god chest here. Okay, that's probably what he's going for. It's minis. Still no one has slain Underworld. Drops his lightning bolt finally. Alright, Cerberus has finally spawned. He has a decent amount of health, but he can be killed relatively quickly. But now is the time where you need to be, like, worried about stopping somebody from killing the boss. Like, all the other stages, you can just mostly ignore. If somebody's taking it out for you while you clear the POI and loot up, that's awesome. And I feel like when you're fighting these bosses, I've talked about this so many times, but you want to leave your shotgun loaded. One of the, like, the easiest ways to, like, third party someone fighting the boss is when they use their shotgun on the boss itself or the wolves or whatever, and then you can just get on them and know their shotgun isn't loaded. Especially with how the Gatekeeper shotgun is now. Like, the ammo capacity is not the greatest. So I like to just, like, kill the boss and kill the wolves and all that stuff with, like, an AR and SMG. And then always keep my shotgun loaded and always be ready to get third-partied. It's 100 damage-ish there. The player he had weak is dead. GG's. He's aiming in a lot with his shotgun, which is usually a mistake. But I feel like at times with this Gatekeeper shotgun, it can be somewhat beneficial for you to do that because the spread on it is so bad. Like, when he got on that male default there, I wouldn't have been aiming in that situation. But I feel like if you have the opportunity to aim in with the Gatekeeper shotgun, your damage consistently gets a lot better. And I don't think, like, so I just talked about why using the shotgun on the boss is bad. In this case, I don't think it's the worst, and I will do it sometimes when I'm about to kill the Cerberus boss and then take the Mythic Gatekeeper anyways, because they drop it. But if you're just fighting the wolves or you're fighting a boss that doesn't drop a shotgun, I think keeping your shotgun loaded to be ready for third parties is, like, super important. And you just want to constantly be putting yourself in situations where you can't be shot from as many angles. It's hard at some of these POIs, but, like, the people he snuck up on were both in spots where they can be shot from, like, 360 degrees. That just makes it more likely you get third-partied. Like, when I'm fighting Grimgate, I like to... Oh, never mind, he's getting shot. Not a real fight. I like to put myself, like, right here-ish. Like, in this little area. That way we can't get shot in the back. He's just gonna go on this. Which, he does have the Mythic Shotgun. Alright, GG, that was an AI. I was gonna say, he has a Mythic Shotgun, so, like, you know, he probably has an advantage in a fight like that over anyone else, but one missed shot, and your game's over with the Gatekeeper Shotgun. And it's not like the lower rarities of Gatekeeper Shotgun do bad damage either, you know? Like, almost regardless of rarity, I feel like your damage potential with the Gatekeeper is quite high. And I do actually prefer to have a purple or gold Gatekeeper with the drum mag over the Mythic. I get asked that quite a bit, but I think the damage difference on the Mythic is not as big of a deal to me as 2 extra shots is. That's kind of one of the downsides of Mythics is you can't customize the attachments. Some people still prefer the Mythic. They just care about damage, and, like, if you do, so be it. But I think the Gatekeeper Shotgun is, like, a very unique example. So the weapon bunker is spawning in front of him there. He's going to be able to customize his guns. May or may not be concerned about that. even if you're not concerned about attachments here, I think going to that bunker would be beneficial because this player doesn't have shockwaves and they don't have a sniper or a DMR either. And they may or may not want those items, but I think having a sniper or DMR is, you know, pretty important this season, and same with shockwaves. And the Medusa NPC is in zone, so if I was in this situation and I got no shockwaves, I would be trying to rush to Medusa afterwards. All right, they get a sniper and they get shockwaves. There's a player above him. They're in the car. In this situation, I would try to run up to the stairs. Like, playing these bunker fights are weird, but a lot of times if somebody knows you're in the bunker and you can get to the top without them doing damage to you, I feel like that's a fight that's like more readily in your favor than like them being up top, you being stuck bottom, and then what you do from there. Fortunately, with these bunkers, there's a lot of loot inside, so typically there will be, there's not in this case, but there's not, typically there will be porta bunkers or shield bubbles in here, and you can kind of use that to make a play if somebody is just like camping you up top. Like, you could throw the porta bunker at the top, and then it will create a bunker that you can like walk up the stairs with without taking damage, and then shockwave out. And then same with the shield bubble. Like, you can throw the bubble to create a situation where you can get like more up those stairs without taking damage, and then bubble fight the person. And like, those situations aren't perfect, but it's like neither is them just camping the bunker and then you sitting in the bottom hoping to like snipe them or something, or hoping for a third party. Like, if they don't give you those shots, those could be like the only ways out. Not really sure what this player is doing now. Gonna go zone. There is a car on the other side of the bridge if they're concerned about that. Because the black Lambo. Other medallion players are over here. This is about to be a very chaotic fight, which this player may or may not be concerned about. I like carrying up to 3 medallions this season. I feel like you get decent benefit and don't give your location away too much, especially in-game. Like, the size of the medallion circle will be larger than the zone in a lot of cases. The G-Wagon there. But if I have Cerberus medallion, I'm not that stressed about the others. Like, I think the Cerberus dash medallion is significantly more impactful than any of the other medallions. Like, Siphon is nice. Hades, or Ares extra damage is nice. Zeus Sprint, personally, that's my least favorite because I mess up shockwaves a lot with it. Can be nice, but I feel like the way you can play with unlimited dashes and the plays you can make in fights is insane, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with that. I get comments all the time about how OP it is. Playing against it is rough. I feel like if you're playing against someone using the Cerberus medallion, trying to get an engage on them when they've used dashes already is going to be your best opportunity. So if like you see them like use a dash or two and then you body them, I'm probably going to go harder to try to close that kill than I would on like an average player, because I know that like this might be the best timing I get. I don't want to fight them when they have 3 dashes up, you know? But playing against it is very hard. Like, if you want to stop losing to the Cerberus medallion, honestly, I think just have a higher priority on getting it yourself, because it can be a rough item to play against if the opponent uses the dash as well. Oddly enough, they chose to go for no sight on their AR. I don't know if they intentionally did that or just forgot to put a red dot on their AR because they were getting pressured by that other player. Not sure what he's looting for at this point. I would not want to be here. Like, Island draws a lot of people. I don't want to exist under Island at this point in the game. I feel like Island, you either go for it and you try to get there and like you be very decisive about going for it, or you just don't mess with it at all. Like, kind of being around this area is not it. Maybe sometimes you can hang out, and if you hear heavy fighting and then rift, that's definitely something I'll do. Like, maybe I'm going to pass through that area anyways, and then like, okay, if I hear heavy fighting, then I'll rift. If not, then I'm fine. And by heavy fighting, I mean like players actively trading shotgun shots. And then like you see someone get knocked in the kill feed or die in the kill feed, and then at that point it's like, yeah, you can rift on that and clean it up pretty easy. But Island is like tough to play around sometimes. Like, a lot of people are going to want to third party you, like I just talked about. And trying to retake it from somebody can take a while. I really don't like this island as much compared to the Chapter 4 island. With Chapter 4 island, I feel like there's very like clear advantages. Like, you get house and then you can kind of control island. I feel like having that top house doesn't really control island as well this season. And then even playing against it, I feel like it's just like not as uniform, I guess. Like, it's just a weirder thing to play around, I feel like. This is not good. This player took a decent amount of damage here. Yeah, they're dead. Okay, GG's. And so the person we were just spectating had dashes. I think almost as soon as they start getting shot by that player when they're head on and crash into the tree, you just want to dash around, like, behind. Okay, then. But if the person we were initially spectating just dashed back to this G-Wagon and left, that's fine. Like, the worst situation for you to be in if you have a car is driving head on somebody slowly. Because, like, these ARs beam. And the windshield only stops, like, one shot. I feel for that Cerberus, though. That exact situation has happened to me many times recently where I kill somebody, go for the loot in a brief moment, and then I just get headshot sniped. I guess he got headshot sniped. I didn't even really see what happened. I just, like, died right away. And that kind of is what I was talking about of the dangers of existing on island. Or around island. Like, he's just there for no reason, gets beamed, then killed, and then, like, that person eventually immediately, third parties it as well. So even if the first lady that we were spectating somehow outplayed that Cerberus, they still probably just get third party by this Midas who has top island, or future third parties, because the area around island tends to be pretty hot. Like, if all you wanted to do was win this game, I think as soon as you see island here, you just drive over this way with your Cerberus dashes and then play the game from that side of zone. With how popular snipers are this season, like, being on the island at all is rough, but being around the island that spawns in 4th zone is very rough. It'd be very fitting if this player got sniped while taking too long to loot. All right, now we're on board with everybody in this lobby was anonymous. I was gonna say whatever his name was, but GG's. Like, if you're... And that's why I think cars are so helpful ever since launch Chapter 5. Like, the more angles you're exposed to, the worse off you are this season. Like, I don't really know what that Midas could have done. I don't know if the sniper glint was obviously showing for a long time because I wasn't really looking at the game that much. I was, like, kind of talking about what I was talking about. But, like, anytime you're exposed, you can die in an instant. And that's why I think cars are so good. Drops the Ares medallion there. I wonder if that's what he meant to drop. This is rough. I do not like, this is giving me anxiety. Someone just died. I don't know where that was. I didn't see which medallion he dropped. The Ares one again. I don't know if he's trying to bait somebody or what. And he's trying to read what they do. Someone just dropped down a zip line. I'm, like, decently sure I just heard someone go down one of these zip lines. Like, we don't have... Oh, there they are. It's an AI. Spectator mode and replay mode in this game is bugged. Like, some people would probably timestamp that and be like, wow, he's not even looking at the guy and he hits him. Just, like, minor imperfections as far as, like, where the person's crosshair is in spectator or in replay mode have always been bugged. Same with, like, kill cams in Call of Duty or spectating Call of Duty. It's just always been bugged. I don't know how video games work, but I'm sure on that player's screen they were actually, like, looking where they were supposed to be looking. Two opponents remain. One of them was all the way across that water. That is where zone goes. And then I have a suspicion that there's another player around here. Actually, they just died. So it's a 1v1 and he knows the other person is over here. Very good inventory. I don't like that they have the Mythic Gatekeeper over one with, like, 5 bullets, but it is what it is. But, you know, Mythic Gatekeeper, Mythic AR, Legendary Sniper, Bigs, Shockwaves. Perfect loadout. May or may not matter, though. This game may just come down to a headshot snipe. They also have the best medallion. So it's, like, very in this player's favor, I think. But with how swingy the game can be with headshot snipes, like, how your inventory is and what you have at your disposal doesn't matter sometimes. They got zone. I wonder if they had forecast. Let me see what the zone is like. So I've talked before about how oftentimes getting into the purple as it opens up is very good because you know you'll be the only one there. This is a different scenario because it's a 1v1, so I feel like you just want to play to hold this player as much as possible. If this in-game was very populated, like, let's just say there's, like, 10 people left. I think getting somewhere in this purple first and kind of playing out from there is great because you're probably not going to win the game in this zone anyway. So like fighting for power position or fighting to hold people on this zone isn't that important. The game isn't going to end, but it's a 1v1. So all he has to do is eliminate that player. And so, yeah, I think you play where he is and play to hold that player. Aiming in with the sniper is not good there, though. The sniper, the 4X does have glint, and it will show in the bush sometimes. Like, sometimes you'll be hidden enough to where it doesn't, but a lot of times you don't want to risk that. So if you have a 4X sniper and you're in a bush, don't aim in until you're very ready to shoot. Like, if you want to aim in to look here, use the AR. That way you don't show glint. I kind of want to swap and see where the other person is. Oh, no. Okay. We'll go back to this guy. I just don't want it to miss action in the black screen. So we know that guy's somewhere across the way there. He also should know that because of earlier, but like so much time has passed with him getting no info that it's not good. That's why, like, I think aiming in with the AR here and just like looking around would be nice. Because it's been so long since he had any intel on where that player is that they could be almost anywhere by now, you know? Unless, like, maybe it's just a spectator bug and he can see out of this bush better than we can. Then maybe. But, okay. Now he sees that player. He has recent info. He knows where that person is. They got across with wings. I think going for some AR tags there are perfect, especially since he has the Cerberus medallion and can quickly reposition. So I think when you see someone winging, they're very vulnerable. And he probably, if he has visual audio on, probably knew about that person winging before we saw him. I think if you get some AR tags on them and then shockwave and dash up to this mountain before them, that would have been good. But now the game is in the hands of the other player. Like, he didn't do anything with that timing. I think anyone who wings, especially in game, puts themselves just in a 1v1. Like, you put yourself in a massive, like, risk. And like mythic AR, even just like 3 AR tags on that person, like, makes this bird favored. And then I think he could have beat them up to this mountain easily because they probably would have dove down and he could have held them. This is not good. Going to this rock would be ideal, I think. Oh, he went low ground. Okay, they get the kill because Mythic Gatekeeper is insane and they hit their shots, but GG. If I was on that rotate time, I would have tried to like get to that rock that was there and then use that as cover and then see where the other person was. I did not expect them to be just on the side of the mountain like that. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting. Maybe just satisfying to see that you're not the only person randomly getting headshot sniped and thinking a game is going well in your favor and then it just turns on an instant. Comment down below what you thought of this week's update, if it changes anything for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.